Okay, so guys, I want the talking to stop. The class starts. I need you to stop talking. Okay. So let's take a look at what you have for these. These are really, really important. And you're always going for the highest one. So nominal is the first level. Then ordinal, there's some kind of an order here. Then interval, there's a meaningful difference, but I can't make a ratio. And the last one, the highest, is ratio. So for these, which one is qualitative? Which one is always qualitative? Nominal. This is like the name only. The number of your jersey means no difference to anybody. It just is the name of you for your number. Ordinal sometimes is qualitative. Sometimes we have a number in there, sometimes we don't. We have a little bit of a difference, and sometimes it's more quantitative. So ordinal can go either way. These two guys, always quantitative. This one can be either one. Okay. So if you take a look at the true and false, number 3, data at the ordinal level are quantitative only. False. That is the only one that can be either one, quantitative or qualitative. Number 4, data at the interval level, you cannot calculate a meaningful difference between the data entries. True or false? False. Interval, think of temperature. If it's 54 degrees.
This time, let's ask teachers of 11th grade students if you would split into the auditorium for this morning. That's it. Teachers of 11th grade students, please split into the auditorium this time.
I didn't even know we had one. Just the 11th graders?
No, they said chosen.
Oh, really? Fifth years?
Yeah.
The seniors? Oh, I never even heard of this. Nice to tell me. That's what I have to do. So thank God I don't have class. Okay, so this is an interval. Temperature is an interval. Can I say that today is 10 degrees warmer? If this is 64 and yesterday was 54, can I say it's twice as hot? No. So I have some kind of a meaningful difference. So this was false. Number 5. More types of calculations can be performed with data at the nominal level than at the interval level. False. Can we perform anything at the nominal level? Any calculations? Can I add you two jerseys together? No. So no calculations at the nominal level. So that would be false. To make it true, you can switch them around. You can say this should be interval. This should be nominal. I mean, that's one way to just make it true. Number 6, data at the ratio level cannot be put in order. What did we say about all the levels? They have all the attributes of the one before it. So if ratio is the highest, it passed through all of these. So can we put it in order? We can put them in order. If we're looking at heights, can we put the order in heights from smallest to tallest? Can we put weights from lowest to highest? Can we put your grades from highest to lowest? I can make them in order, right? And I can still calculate a difference between them. And I can still make a ratio out of them. So any of these levels have all of the characteristics of the ones before as well. Okay. So we're going to classify these guys as qualitative or quantitative. And we're going to go a little step further anyway. We're going to do nominal interval ratio, just because it's good practice. The heights of hot air balloons, qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative. What level is it? Ratio. Good. Heights. I can compare heights. Just think, can you compare them? Can you say one is twice as tall as the other one? Twice as high. Half as small. A quarter of the way. Carrying capacities of pickups. Qualitative or quantitative? quantitative. What level of measurement would that be? Ratio. Good. What is a carrying capacity? It's a weight. So can I compare weights? This truck holds half as much as this truck. As long as I can say that, then it's ratio. Eye color of models, qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative. It just gives a quality of that person. What level of measurement is color? Nominal. Good. In other words, I look at the color and I say, is there any way I can do a calculation on the color? No. Nominal. Nominals can't have any calculations. Can I say one blue is brighter than the other blue? But there's no way for me to measure that. Student ID numbers, qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative. What level of measurement would that be? I could put them in order, but do you guys have a special order to your ID numbers? No, they used to give you a sequence, but then sometimes when one gets done, they assign it to the next person. So they're just nominal. Just like, it's kind of like your social security number. The odd part is, how many of your IDs start with a 2? Okay, so up until this year, a lot of the IDs were zeros. 0, 8 something or other, 0, 5 something or other. And then only the new kids that came in had 2s. Now, like, you're the first class. Last year, most of my kids had 2s, but some still had regular numbers. So now, you guys are all the 2s. They just kept assigning new numbers to you guys. So all the new ones coming in, they said, well, we're not going to recycle the old ones. We're going to give everybody a starting with a 2. So you guys all have to.
Good morning. At this time, we're going to ask all other teachers, 11th grade students, if you will bring them to the auditorium at this time.
The weights of infants at a hospital, qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative. What level of measurement is weights? Ratio. The species of trees in a forest. Tyler, what would you say? Quantitative or qualitative? Qualitative. Do you know what level of measurement it would be? Manageable species. Like, what is a species of a tree? Like what kind? Oak, elm, maple, nominal. Just a category. Responses on an opinion poll. Matthew, qualitative or quantitative?
Quantitative.
Quantitative. Okay, so these are the actual. Okay, so now let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at a response. What is a response? Say yes. Say no. We're not going to add them up though. Did they say the number of responses or the this is tricky. This is a tricky one. Did they say the number of responses or the responses? On an opinion poll, what can you usually say? Agree, yes or no, I agree, I disagree, I somewhat agree, highly unlikely. What kind of categories are those? Those are not ratios, those are nominals. Well, they could be nominals, they could be ordinals, but what kind would we consider them? Qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative. This one is tricky. They're looking to say, if I say yes or no, this is nominal. Either way, it's qualitative. If I say likely, unlikely, this is my opinion poll, right? Are you likely to vote for this guy for president? Likely, unlikely, somewhat unlikely, never going to happen. I'll get you in 1 second. This is ordinal, but it's still qualitative. If I change this and I say number of responses, then what would that be? Quantitative. And what level would it be? Ratio. Good. Jordan.
I was just confused. I didn't know that response was
Right. And that's why I said this one's a tricky one. But it says responses. So what kind of, like, opinion polls? Have you ever taken an opinion poll or anything? Has it ever asked you, do you like this movie? How would you rate this car? How would you rate something? normally you say, I like it, I didn't like it, yes or no, I agree, I disagree, I highly liked it, kind of liked it, somewhat liked it. Those are opinions, right? Those are the responses that we would give you, the answer. It's the same kind of thing when I told you yesterday. The page number is nominal. The number of pages is ratio. Responses, nominal. Could be ordinal, but qualitative. The number of responses, I add those up, right? I add up all the no's, all the highly unlikelies, all the agrees. I add those up. So be careful how they say it. Wait times. This is another one to be careful of. What is a wait time? At a grocery store. Sorry. So like what time? Like give me an example of one. A minute. You waited a minute for your line, right? You waited 10 minutes on your line. You know, you come out the store and you say, of course I picked the slowest line. They had to do 25 price checks. I waited 20 minutes. I went in the store, I got on the quickest line, I waited 1 minute. Your wait time is measurable, isn't it? So what kind of data would this be? It would be quantitative, quantitative. And what would it be in terms of the level? Well, ratio if you're going to count the minutes. So intervals, I'm going to say, I went in at 1:04.
Good morning, teachers. Please excuse the disruption. At this time, we are asking teachers of all juniors if you will bring them to the auditorium. This presentation is for adjustments for their classrooms. At this time, please bring all of your students, junior students, to the auditorium. Thank you.
You have to be careful how they say this. That's what I'm saying. Give me an example of what you think the wait time is. If I went in the store at 1:04 and I waited online till 1:07, this would be interval. But if I say I waited 3 minutes, this would be ratio. You waited 6 minutes, I waited 3 minutes. You waited twice as long as I did. But here, from here, I'm looking at a time stamp, and that's an interval. So you just got to give me an example of what you're saying. Okay? A little bit different. They are tricky. Okay. A comedy series. The year that a television show on ABC won the Emmy for the best comedy series. Olivia.
I'm trying to explain her. She understands it.
Okay.
I don't get why you just said it could be interval or ratio.
Depending on how you say it. So give me an example of a wait time.
Wait time for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. If you say 5 minutes and I say I waited 10 minutes, can I compare that, say, twice as long? Mm-hmm. That is ratio. If you say time stamp this, you walked in here at 1:04, you got out at 1:07, time stamp, time like this. Then I could say there is a meaningful difference, right? 3 minutes. But can I actually compare these two in a ratio?
No.
That's the difference.
So what one would that be? If it was
I would have said this. But what I'm saying is if you said time stamp because somebody yelled out interval, so if you give me a time stamp and say I walked in at 1:04, I got out at 1:07, I waited 3 minutes, but I can't compare 1:04 to 1:07. I can compare 3 minutes to 10 minutes, but I can't compare my time stamps. So if that's what you're thinking that it is, tell me that's what it is. So if you think, like that's why I say, give me an example of a wait time. I would have said minutes. I went with minutes. But when somebody said interval, you could make this into an interval by giving it a time stamp. So because the time stamp is an interval. I can see there's a difference between here, but these are the two numbers I can't compare in a ratio, right?
How come you can't say like 10 degrees and 20 degrees?
So you can. You could say 10 degrees and 20 degrees. There is a meaningful difference.
How come that's not understood?
Because if you have to look at these numbers alone, Can I say this is twice as hot? I get what you're saying. You're saying this is 10 times 2. But in terms of temperature, can I say something is twice as hot? No. No. If I'm looking at degrees, so, okay, this is a good argument. This is a good argument. Watch. This is interval the way temperature is. But if I say the difference between yesterday's temperature and today's temperature is 10 degrees. The difference between today's temperature and tomorrow's temperature is also 10 degrees. Is it the same temperature? No, I can't compare these two temperatures. I have a meaningful difference, but I can't say one is twice as hot, one is half as cold. That I can't do. So that time and temperature, as written like this, is interval. Because, God bless you, time and a time stamp, you can't compare it. Running times, here's another one. Running times in a marathon. You finish, well, let's just say a 5K. So how long does it take to do a 5K? Like an hour, max. So 50 minutes? I don't know. So let's say 50 minutes so 50 minutes. So I finished in 25. I finished in half of the time. Minutes are ratios. If you give me a time stamp, I finished at 1:12, and somebody else finished at 1:13. They finished a minute after me. Okay? I can compare minutes, but I can't compare the time stamps. So that's why the interval is one of the hardest ones to catch. Intervals just say there is a meaningful difference, but looking at these numbers, I can't make a ratio out of these numbers. I can make a ratio out of the minutes that I say is different. Right? Do you kind of see it? It's hard. It's a very hard concept. And that's why time and temperature really are the only intervals that we use. Especially temperature, because temperature passes through the 0, which is a valid number for this. It's not a 0 meaning nothing. That's why they say it has a meaning to it, your zeros. It's a tricky one. So comedy series, these are the years that are listed. What level would this be? Nominal, interval, ordinal, ratio? You're given the years that this comedy series won Emmys. Interval. Because is there a difference between this year and this year? This year and this year? So how many years before they won another Emmy? From here to here, how many years? 24. From here to here, how many years? 1. Here to here. Here to here. There is a difference. But if I'm comparing these numbers, these listings, can I say that 1955 is half of 1979? Or a quarter of it? Or a third of it? No. If I'm looking at how many years in between, the number of years in between, then I can compare the number of years. But looking at the dates of them, all I can get out of this is an interval. See the difference? When somebody says how many years, how many minutes, that's ratio. When someone gives you the title of it, this is 1997, this is 1999, oh, 2 years later, that's all I can say. That's interval. Okay, number 16. The top 5 business schools in the U.S. for the recent year, according to Forbes, are listed below. What type of data measurement is this? Ordinal. Nominal, it gives a name, but is there some kind of order to this? What told you there was an order? Top 5. So ordinal says yes, it had to be nominal. They gave me names, but I have to have some kind of order to this. Number 17, these are the jersey numbers on the soccer team. Nominal. No kind of difference between these for me. Okay, now listen to this one. The length in seconds of songs on an album are listed. The length in seconds, 228, 233, etc. What level of measurement is that? Ratio. Can I say one song is twice as long as another in terms of seconds played?
Yeah.
Number 19, the top 5 fiction books for the New York Times bestseller list on December 2012 are listed. What type of data is that? Well, it looks nominal to me because they're names. Is there some kind of order to this nominal names, list of names? Because we said top 5. So this is ordinal. So when you get confused, start with nominal. Work your way up until you can't go any further. Okay, here's a good one. Now watch how they give this. The times of the day when a person checks, we did this yesterday. When a person checks their emails. Did we do this one in class? No. The times of the day when a person checks their emails are listed below. This is a timestamp at 7:28, at 8:30, at 8:43, at 9:18. What type of data is this? Interval. Because I can say, this is in order, yes, and how many minutes pass from here to here? An hour and 2 minutes. So I could say 62 minutes pass from here to here. How many minutes pass from here to here? 13 minutes pass from here to here. Now, without looking at the words minutes, can I take 7:28 and 8:30 and compare those two and make a ratio? 7:28 and 8:30. Can I compare those? Nope. I can compare how many minutes elapsed, but I can't compare this timestamp. That's what interval means. There's a meaningful difference between that timestamp. But that timestamp, I can't say, this was twice as long as this one. This was half the time of this one. 2 times as long that I waited in between. I can only do that if I calculate how many minutes in between them. Okay? This is another good one. These axes. So if you take a look, everybody has a horizontal and a vertical axis. Here's your horizontals. Your vertical axis are what levels of measurement? You get bars out of this. Can I say this bar is twice as big as this bar? This bar is a quarter of the size of that one?
Sure.
Right? So aren't I comparing quantities of things? So what level of measurement is your y-axis? Ratio. That's where you accumulate from. Isn't that like your frequency chart? Where you accumulate numbers? Your frequency? How many times does it occur? Okay? This guy. This is, I can't read the things, but can you read it in your book? This guy is ordinal. I'll have to pick up my book. It's some kind of order here. This one on number 22, the horizontal, is also ordinal. Whatever it is, it's going in order of the numbers, right? This one over here, this is gender, male and female. What is male and female? Just the name, male and female. Nominal. What is ratio in this graph? How many males did you have? How many females did you have? That's the ratio part. That's your y-axis. But the category itself, male and female, it's just a name. How many entries you put in there is a ratio entry. Okay, and the last one, these are dates. What level is dates? Intervals. I have a meaningful difference between them, but the date itself, I can't say this date is twice as many dates as that one. Not the years in between, just the dates. Making sense? I said these would be tougher. These are tougher to go through. Okay? And the last one Okay, here's items that appear on a physician's intake form. Determine each level of measurement. So temperature is what level? Interval. Allergies? Nominal. Just the name of their allergy. Weight? Or can I say one person is twice as much as another? Ratio. Weight, height, things that you measure, measurable things, and usually ratio. Pain level, ordinal. This is a pain level that's quantitative because you actually put a number on this. So your pain goes from 1 to 10, but you put a number on this. So this ordinal category is a quantitative ordinal one because it actually has a number assigned to it. But I still don't know the difference between what a 5 is and what a 6 pain is. Who says 5, who says 6? I don't know what the difference is between them, but I know there's a difference. Okay? Questions on these at all? 502 adults. They found that 78% favor government policies requiring better fuel efficiency for vehicles. I have to read from my book. So what does 1503 represent? A sample. A sample of what? U.S. adults. Are there more U.S. adults that I'm surveying for this? Yep. So, population of all U.S. adults. Sample of 1,502. What does this represent? If this is my sample, a statistic. Good. This is my statistic. This is not my population. This is not my sample. This guy right here is my sample. This is a piece of information about my sample, so that's my statistic. Okay? Out of 1,502 people, 78% of them favored government policies regarding better fuel efficiency for their vehicles. Okay. Number 2, 38 nurses working in San Francisco area were surveyed concerning their opinions of managed health care. What does the 38 represent? Sample of what? Of nurses in San Francisco area. What is my population? All the nurses in the San Francisco area. Because this is specific, right? So my population is all nurses in the San Francisco area. My sample is my 38 nurses in the San Francisco area. Number 3, a survey of 2,311 U.S. adults found that 84% of them have seen a healthcare provider at least once in the past year. What's my sample? 2,311 U.S. adults. What's my population? All U.S. adults. Is this a statistic or a parameter? A statistic. This is information about my sample. Number 4, a survey of 186 U.S. adults ages 25 to 29 found that 76% have read a book in the past 12 months. What's my sample? 186 U.S. adults, what age group? 25 to 29. Did we sample all U.S. adults? Only the age 25 to 29. So what's my population? All U.S. adults age 25 to 29. Good. Do you see the difference when they give us a specific? They gave us a specific about nurses in San Francisco area only. Population, all nurses in San Francisco. They gave us a sample of U.S. adults ages 25 to 29. Population, all U.S. adults ages 25 to 29. I don't care about the U.S. adult that's 24 years old. I only want the 25 to 29. Okay. If you jump down to number 11, quantitative or qualitative. Now listen carefully. The ages of a sample of 350 employees in a software company. Quantitative or qualitative? Quantitative. What level of measurement are ages? Ratio. Good. Zip codes of this sample. What level of measurement is that? Qualitative, what level of measurement? Nominal. The revenues of companies in the Fortune 500 list. Qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative. What level of measurement is that? Ratio. What is revenues? Give me an example of a revenue. 45,000? Sure. 45,000, 45 million. It's an amount that you earned, right? That you accrued, that you accumulated, right? A revenue. The marital status of all professional doctors, qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative. What level of measurement is that? Nominal. Married, divorced, separated, single. Okay. Look at number 15. Daily high temperatures for Sacramento, California. What are temperatures? What level? Interval. The vehicle size for a sample of sedan. Mini compact, subcompact. What's that? Mini compact, subcompact. What are these? Ordinal. They are nominal because they have names, but they have some kind of order to them? Sure. Very, very small, a little smaller, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger than mid-size to large. Is there an order to that?
If they were in that order, it would have to be nominal.
Yes, because then order is yeah. 4 departments of a printing company. What's this one? Nominal. The total compensation in millions of the top 10 in millions, they should have parentheses. Of the top 10 CEOs, these are the total compensations in millions: 131 million, 67 million. Ooh, what's the highest level? Ratio. These are like salaries. Compensations are like salaries. Numbers, actual like dollar values. In millions. So we're getting a little bit better with these. All right. So tomorrow we'll do a quiz on this. Go over these tonight. Make sure you know them.